second half of the 2024 MLB season is officially here, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. celebrated by hitting a baseball 904 feet. But before the game, he spoke out and said that he wants to stay with the Blue Jays, but also he understands that baseball is a business if he does get traded. The Oakland Athletics called up a rookie that just might have had the greatest start to a minor league career in baseball history. The Astros and the Mariners, they're fighting for their lives to begin the second half. Whoever wins is going to be in first place. And the Baltimore Orioles, I mean, I just don't see how this lineup does not at least make the ALCS, and they don't even have Jackson Holliday right now, who's tearing it up in AAA. So we're going to talk about all of that and more in today's MLB Recap. We recap every game almost every single day, so stick around. Hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss out on baseball. And also, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, save yourself 20 bucks off on SeatGeek using code Fuzzy. We get to start the second half with a poop game. Listen, I know I just turned 28 years old. Yesterday was my birthday, but the Phillies and Pirates scoreboard, when no one has scored yet, it's still special to me, okay? Now, the Phillies, they wanted to make sure they reminded folks that they were the best team in baseball in the first half, and they quickly went up 3-0. Nick Castellanos had a 2-run double, and Weston Wilson, yes, that is a real name, he gave Philly that third run. Now, this was a good old-fashioned roller coaster game because Oneil Cruz, he drilled a 120-point-something mile-per-hour double. It's the second hardest hit ball all year. He owns the top 3 hardest hit baseballs. Nick Gonzalez, he brought home Brian Reynolds. Rowdy Tellez had a sac fly. He got home the speedy Oneil Cruz. So both teams, they scored 3 in the first when Weston Wilson, he lifted off for a moonshot solo home run, only to have Rowdy Tellez tied again. I think that's his second sac fly. Oneil, he's just too fast to throw out. Trey Turner's back at it again. His 2-run tater put the Phillies up a few runs, and he's hitting .405 with 9 home runs and 20 RBIs in 13 games this July. He's honestly having one of the better months I've ever seen from a big leaguer. Schwarber, he brought in a key 7th run, and it's key because Oneil, he singled in the 5th run for the Pirates, and Rowdy, he just became the first player in I think 16 years since 2018 to have 3 sac flies in one game. Cruz, he tried to make it to second, but he's thrown out after the replay, so we head to the 9th inning. The Phillies are still winning, but Jose Alvarado is imploding. Runners at second and third. Oneil, he chopped one so he can't make the throw home, so it's all up to Nick Gonzalez, and he walks it off. That right there is not only a walk-off W, but it was the only lead the Pirates had all day. They saved their first and only lead for when it mattered the most. So we just saw the Pirates score basically every single one of their runs without an extra base hit. In Houston, they basically did the exact same thing to the Mariners, so hopefully the Mariners can clutch up. Now, Trey Cavage, he did double to start the third, but he didn't score on a double, a triple, or a home run. Jose bunted him over, and well, that happened. Luis Castillo, he then walked Bregman and Alvarez, so maybe he was aiming with this next pitch. It got way too much of the plate, and Yainer Diaz, he grooved it the other way. 2-run score. Those walks really came back to bite him, and Hunter Brown, he's basically having an identical inning. Runners at first and third, then he walks J-Rod, and Cal, he's been clutch all year. But dang it, he floats one to Altuve to end the threat. Brown, he did a fantastic job to make sure he kept his streak. And what's the streak? Hunter had pitched 6 innings in 10 consecutive starts, so he's been a workhorse. He walked Garver on 4 pitches. The bullpen's moving, so he gets one more hitter. And on pitch 104, he got Josh Rojas to pop up. So that's 11 consecutive games going 6 innings. This start was a 6-inning masterpiece, 6 shutout. Houston, their bullpen clutched up for their starter. Hader, he finished out the night with his 19th save, which means that these two teams are now officially tied for first place in the AL West. I know that this is a random transition, but there's no way I'm not showing Brenton Doyle's prodigious moonshot versus the Giants, because I want to talk about the fact that he has 16 home runs and 20 stolen bases. He's playing platinum defense in the outfield, but also I wanted to talk about his splits. He's hitting .350 at home with a 180 OPS plus, where when he's on the road, he's hitting .217. I've talked about the Coors Field effect not affecting guys like Larry Walker, Todd Helton, but in regards to Brenton Doyle, he's Barry Bonds at home and Miles Straw on the road, just with more pop. The Rockies ended up taking the lead in the 7th after Matt Chapman tried to do a 360 no-scope and it got away for the game-tying run. We skipped to the 8th, and Jake Cave, he just went yard off the nasty Tyler Rogers. The Rockies, they're not going to look back from there. In fact, they added to it on Tovar's 15th home run. I didn't realize he had that many. The Rockies went easy, and again, I just wanted to talk about Brenton Doyle and his monster season, as well as his crazy otherworldly splits that I did not think were that cavernous. I mean, I don't know what the record is for the biggest gap between home and road, but I think Doyle might be going for it this year. Before we show the Yankee game, you guys really thought the home run derby was going to affect this kid? Bobby Witt Jr. is going to rake regardless of if he's in 5 home run derbies in one day or not. That ball's not coming back. He's up to 17 home runs, and now he has 65 RBIs after he singled home Michael Garcia for another run. Skipping to the 5th, I thought Vinny Pasquantino got all of it. I thought it was a grand slam, but he settles for a sac fly. Hunter Renfroe, that's a painful way to get a free RBI, and the White Sox championship hopes are kind of slipping right before our very own eyes. Okay, so that's a bad joke. But Michael Massey, he yanked one. That ball was 3 inches off the plate, but he pulled it for 2 more RBIs. Freddie Fermin's RBI single gives the Royals a 5-run 5th. And all while Michael Wacha, he went out and shoved for 7 scoreless. And on top of that, he had 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk. The Cole Reagans, Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, Brady Singer rotation is very solid. And I thought that Alec Marsh was their 5-starter, but maybe over the All-Star break they said, hey, you got to go to the bullpen now, because after Corey Lee bashed a solo home run, not off of Marsh, Marsh got the final 3 outs. So is he done as a starter? I guess time will tell. Obviously, we have to see if the Royals gain some ground on the Guardians, but we'll recap the Padres and Guardians after the Yankees and Orioles games. Verdugo, he dribbled one to short for the game's first run, and is that who I think it is? It is! I'm a big Anthony Volpe fan. I just like him a lot, and I hope that he bounces back for a big second half, because I don't think he's hit a home run in like a month and a half, 2 months. It's kind of crazy. Also, it's just not a great look that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is basically keeping pace with his production. That's not a great look. By the way, speaking of not a great look, Randy, he floated in a relay throw on that Volpe swing. That's kind of why all 3 runs were allowed to score. And then the same thing on this Juan Soto double. I don't understand why Randy was just floating it in there. By the way, yes, Juan did forget that it was his turn to bat, so he got there a little bit late, but he does hit that double. Randy floats it in. The second relay throw hit Juan Soto, and that is a Little League home run, and I know that Rays fans were not happy about that. Now, they were happy about this home run. Brandon Lau, he kind of owns Garrett Cole, not as much as Rafael Devers, but Yankees fans, they weren't worried because they got through the 6th inning unscathed. Now, we'll talk about Garrett in just a second, because Juan Soto, he just made it a 4-for-4 performance, another double. Aaron Judge, he broke his bat a few moments later, so he's got 86 RBIs. The Yankees, they finish off the Rays 6-1, and before we move on, check out Garrett's start. He had 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, so that means he has 15 strikeouts over his last 12 innings, and over those last 2 starts, he's only given up 2 runs total. So Garrett Cole, he's looking like himself. That's a great way to kickstart the second half if you're a Yankees fan, and they're praying that Baltimore will take an L against the Rangers, and that's not happening. Adley Rutschman and Colton Cowser, they ran into some baseballs in the very first inning. What Adley Rutschman is doing is not normal, by the way. I know it's normal for him, but he's just unreal. That's his 50th career home run. He has a career 129 OPS plus. Colton Cowser, he hit the power swing. I would love to see Colton in the Derby because he's got thumped for days. He has 13 home runs. Nathaniel Lowe, he got 1 back on a home run, only to have his 1 home run answered with 2 more home runs for Baltimore. The home run derby was actually yesterday. Anthony Santander, he charged up for his 25th home run, and it's cool that it went to some O's fans. Now we're going to fast forward to the 7th inning. Gunnar Henderson made it a 4-for-4 night. Adley Rutschman got walked. 2 are on for Anthony Santander, and now 0 are on for Santander. 26 home runs for Tony Taters. I mean, Corbin Burns got a ton of run support. He struck out 9 Rangers, only allowed 1 run. He has a 2.38 ERA on the season. There are reports that the Orioles are not going to be able to afford Corbin Burns. I wish that he would stay because they're probably going to go out and get a Garrett Crochet or maybe even Jack Flaherty again. Also, Jackson Holiday had 2 home runs yesterday. I'm wondering if Jorge Mateo's days are coming to an end, because if they get a second pitcher behind Corbin Burns and they call up Jackson Holiday and he rakes, I mean, on paper, the Orioles are going to have one of the more talented teams we've seen in quite some time. The Guardians were taking on knuckleballer Matt Waldron and the Padres, and Matt was very, very good through the first 4. He got hosed by his third baseman, though. Manny, he booted it. David Fry, he got to second on a perfect bunt from Anderson Jimenez. Now he's at third base after a pass ball. Cleveland, their small ball voodoo magic is in full effect. The rookie Daniel Schneemann, he clutched up with the hustle RBI double. Tanner Bybee, he gets the lead, and just like Waldron, Tanner was great as well. Now, Bybee only struck out 3. He also walked 3, but he was able to avoid hard contact. He went 5 2/3 scoreless. Now it's 1-0 in the 8th inning. Bo Naylor, he smoked one back to Kolarek, and he's all right, by the way. Deflected off of his glove. Kwani, he singled right after, and There's no way. 2013, Manny Machado makes this play 10 times out of 10. Angel Martinez, he loads them up after Manny kind of wasted time looking at third. And J-Ram, that's a rocket single. One scores easy. And Quan, he was hosed, but he didn't get hosed because Higashioka whiffed it. So that's a 2-run base knock for Jose Ramirez. David Fry, that's a free RBI. And Brian Rocchio, he got jammed, but he tagged San Diego for 2 more RBIs. Cleveland ended up winning by 7 after Tyler Freeman had a sac fly. Just an amazing start to the second half because not only did they win on my 28th birthday, but they also got a steal on the first overall pick, Travis Bazana. They got him for $8.95 million, which is still a lot, but the slot value was $10.5 million. So they saved a lot of money for the other picks. And by the way, Reds pick Chase Burns, he signed for $9.25, a brand new record. And then Charlie Condon of the Rockies, he also got $9.25. So they both passed Paul Skeens' $9.2 for the most ever given in a draft for 1 pick. Man, you got to feel bad for Nick Pivetta because he's out there tossing frisbees versus the Dodgers. He got Ohtani and Freeman to strike out in the first. There goes Ohtani again. He chased the fastball at his eyebrow. So Chef Nick, he is cooking with hot oil. He just needs a lead. And there it is. The All-Star Game MVP homered again. Jaron now has 11 home runs. He also doubled earlier. So 2 more extra base hits for one of the best extra base guys in all of baseball. Whoa. Nick got Ohtani again. He's just the 6th right-handed pitcher in baseball to strike out Ohtani 3 times in 1 single game. He kept on mowing guys down. He left with 8 punchies, just 2 base hits. The only problem is he couldn't pitch the whole game, and Ohtani, he doubled in the 8th, so he was happy that Pivetta left the game. Runners are now at 2nd and 3rd. The Red Sox, they walked Will Smith. They wanted to have a force out, and Freddie, he forced one out all right. Way to get your first base hit of the night. He has 15 home runs, 65 RBIs, and a 152 OPS plus after that grand slam. And by the way, he has a 148 OPS plus since 2013. He's just a machine. 51,000 people were in attendance to watch Daniel Hudson get his 5th save. And by the way, shout out to rookie Gavin Stone. He has a 3.19 ERA. He only gave up that 1 run to Jarren Duran. He's been a lifesaver for them. We have an MLB debut, and you might not believe me, but the 6th overall pick from last year, Jacob Wilson hit .571 in A-ball. He gets called up to Double-A, where he hit .455, and then in AAA, he hit .398. That is a .438 batting average across all levels. Honestly, that might have been the greatest start to a minor league career in the history of baseball. There's Jacob on defense. He got some help from Seth Brown in the 3rd inning. He threw across his body, and Seth, he dug it out to complete the double play. Jacob, he then line went over Zach Neto in his first career at bat, so he's hyped up, and so is his dad, Jack Wilson. By the way, his dad, Jack, was an all-star, and he led the league in triples back in 2004, so he's got that MLB DNA in his blood. Schumann, he reached, so 2 were on for Lawrence Butler, and Lawrence stayed hot. He ripped a triple down the line, but this is awful. Jacob Wilson, he came up limping on the 2-run 3-bagger. He had to leave the game, and he was clearly pissed off, and I would have been pissed as well, but hopefully he's going to be okay. This baseball is not okay. Zach Neto crushed it, his 13th home run. Now the A's, they did fight back as Brett Harris, he singled in Zach Geloff, and Schumann, he lifted off for a clutch 3-run home run. All 6 runs scored in this game so far have been knocked in by a rookie. Nolan Schanuel, he answered with a home run of his own just like Neto, but the Oakland rookies, they got right back to it. Schumann, he made it a monster 4 RBI night on his 2nd extra base hit, and Butler made it 8 runs. Well, I mean, there was an error, so it's not an RBI, but at least Lawrence scored on an Andujar extra base hit. We have more extra base hits from the A's. JJ Bleday just went lefty. He's got 12 home runs and 26 doubles. Shea, he makes it 31 runs scored over 2 games. That's 11 home runs over the last 2 games. Remember, they beat the Phillies 18-3 in the final game of the first half. They're top 5 in home runs and OPS the last month. I tried to tell you guys before the season, the Boston pitching staff and the A's offense, we're going to surprise some people. So the A's ended their first half on a little streak, and same for the Tigers. They're trying to win 3 in a row. They really want to keep pace with Cleveland, Kansas City, and Minnesota. Jack Flaherty was so good and throwing so hard that his Cooperstown patch on his hat could not keep up. It was falling off of the cap. After that Kiermaier strikeout, he made it 9 up and 9 down, and now he's got the lead. Riley Green, he laced an RBI off of Chris Bassett and more runs. Mark Canha, he makes it 3-0 on his 7th home run, and knowing Chris Bassett, he's going to try and bear down and stay in. Jack Flaherty, he didn't throw a perfect game, but spoiler, he did toss a beauty. 5 2/3 scoreless with 8 more strikeouts. And a real quick break in the action, Vladdy, he spoke before the game. He said that he wanted to stay in Toronto for his whole career, but he understands that it's a business, and I mean, he just made that 5 2/3 scoreless stat a lie. Vladdy cracked a mammoth 415-foot 2-run home run. He's hyped up. He's got 15 home runs and a near 135 OPS plus. Bo, he wanted to tie it, but not only does that not fall for the RBI, but he came up limping just like Jacob Wilson. His right calf has been giving him issues all season long, and this was a first, at least for me. Wencel Perez, he socked a home run, but I thought it was a pop-up, and George just lost it. It sails over the fence for a 2-run home run. Kind of embarrassing for Springer. This isn't, though, a 2-run home run of his own, so it's 5-4 Tigers. Tyler Holton is going to get tasked with getting the save for the Tigers, and he got it. That's his 3rd save. The Tigers have won 3 games in a row, and I know it sounds like a lot, but they're 6 games back of a wild card spot. One hot stretch, and they're in it. We have another game just like the Pirates and Phillies game where basically everything happened on singles or sac flies. Gabriel Moreno, he started it, and Christian Walker, he stepped in to do the same, only his was a 2-run single. This was all off of Justin Steele, by the way, so this is very impressive. Ryan Nelson, he went 4 scoreless after Lourdes. He caught up with the baseball in left field. That's a nice play. And then Ryan, he blew it past Dansby Swanson with a heater. Now he's up 5 runs as Gabriel Moreno made it a 3-for-3 day. He ended up at second base on that weird throw, and this was one of those 1,000 paper cut games, just single after single, sac fly after sac fly. Randall made it a 4 spot, and then Corbin, he skied a sac fly for their 5th run. Now the Cubs routed a bit, which was perfectly okay with Paul Sewald because now he can lock in for a save. He's fired up. One swing could have tied it because he allowed runners on again. That's kind of like the Paul Sewald special, but he's got 14 saves. Shout out to Ryan Nelson, who had 9 strikeouts over 5 1/3. Nelson now has a 2.2 ERA over his last 4 starts, and if he keeps this up and Jordan Montgomery comes back and figures it out, the Diamondbacks were 50-48. They could go on a run. We're going to find the Reds and the Nationals. And by the way, it's Patrick Corbin's 35th birthday, and he, that's not fun. Jonathan India, he singled home Stuart Fairchild. But then Patrick's rookie phenom, James Wood, he ties it with an RBI knock of his own. And James, he's only hitting 246 after destroying the minor league, so it just shows how much harder Major League Baseball is. Kybert Ruiz, he's heating up. He's got 3 home runs and 8 RBIs over his last 7 starts. A lot of guys are heating up in July. Juan Yepes, a 3-run shot. The former Cardinal, he's just happy that someone gave him a chance. In his rookie year for St. Louis, he had 12 home runs and a 110 OPS plus. Then he fell off hard in 2023. Now, I know it's only a small sample size, but he's hitting .390 with Washington, and he has multiple hits in 4 straight games. Frankie Montas, he almost has a 5 ERA. He gave up 7 runs. He's really stunk it up. Patrick Corbin, my birthday buddy, he tossed a gem on his 35th birthday. Just the 1 run in the 3rd inning. So 1 run on 6 punch outs, only 3 base hits allowed. Cincy, they tried to mount a comeback. They went from being down 7 to giving Kyle Finnegan a save opportunity. Ellie just missed going up the middle. Luis Garcia Jr. here got there. He throws him out. Ball game. Finnegan now has 26 saves and a 2.4 ERA. The Nationals are 5 games back of a wild card spot. Do you think that they can shock some people? Brian De La Cruz is starting off the season on... Whoa, hold up. Did Jeff McNeil just make that grab? He did. He put on the moon shoes to grab that thing. Now, the Marlins, they did score a few in the 2nd inning. They actually scored 2, but I'm going to skip to the 3rd where Jake Berger hit a rocket double. Josh Bell, he added to their lead, so both of their 2023 trade deadline pieces are driving in runs. Jeff with another highlight, this time in the batter's box. He's trying to reverse course. He's been awful, like completely basically useless over the first half and also dating back to last year. Same with Jake Berger, only talking about 2024. He was very bad in the first half. He had an RBI double, now a solo home run, so a very nice night, but not as nice as Jeff McNeil. His 2nd of the night. That's a 2-run lefty tater. Now, unfortunately, he was the only Met that decided to show up as Nick Fortes. He got 1 of those runs back, another 2-out runner in scoring position, base hit. He's hitting .500 in that situation, by the way. Miami, they do steal a W. Who's going to get moved from these teams? Maybe Pete Alonso, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Is Tanner Scott going to go back to the Orioles? I can't believe that he ever left there. Who's going to get traded? Now, to end today's recap, I'm going to do that guess the batting stance and guess the pitcher game because today's batter and pitcher have me completely blanked. I have no idea who these guys are. For the batter, the backswing is very long. He holds on to the bat with both hands, but for some reason, it looks like Alex Verdugo, but I know it's not. It almost looks like Rafael Devers as well, but it's not. It's almost like a combination of both of their swings. I just don't know. Who is this guy? The only other guy that I can think of who has that much of a backswing is Riley Green, and I don't know if it's Riley Green, but it could be. It's not Devers. I'm gonna go Riley Green and just see if this is him. Did I just get? Okay, the backswing was my saving grace. If it was not that aggressive, I think I would have got that wrong. But we're 1 for 1. Just barely, though. This pitcher, I genuinely... Like, it's on the tip of my tongue. I've seen this guy before. I feel like he's a prevalent relief pitcher. And I know it's not a starting pitcher because what starting pitcher throws like that? This is a guy who is, oh wait, Helsley. Is that Ryan Helsley? Wait. It looks like Mason Miller, but I'm pretty sure it's Ryan. How do you spell his name? Is it Ryan Helsley? Okay. Today was actually pretty difficult, I'm not going to lie. It looked like a couple different guys. I thought it could have been Mason Miller. I thought that the first one could have been a Devers or a Verdugo. But again, Verdugo's stance is open. So we got 2 for 2, surprisingly. That does it for today's recap. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, do me a big favor. It really helps out the channel and the algorithms. Leave a like if you're brand new. Hit that subscribe button and enjoy the web gems.
There's a drive out toward right center field. Good jump by Brennan. Racing over to pulled right side. Otto Lopez gets there and takes a hit.
This one is lifted. Back of third. Tough spot. Long run. Smith.
Runner at second for Wyatt Langford. Mountcastle racing back. Santander through foul territory. Rolled towards the middle. Henderson hustles. Pirouettes. On. Half-hearted swing. Tough play. Rojas bare hand. Oh, wow.